Oh, two-faced bitch.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I have a special guest once again. Many people commented that they wanted collaboration with Kictor, and here we have Kictor once again. Say hello, Kictor.
Hey, thank you for having me again. This is awesome.
Thank you for coming. So today we are going to talk about the hidden meanings behind Mo Dao Zu Shi character names. So first, let us start off with Wei Ying or Wei Wuxian. So for Wei Ying, Ying means a baby. And so in Taoism, babies are seen as very pure, very simple and natural. And this sort of also connects with his second name, which is Wuxian. For Wuxian, Wu means to not or nothing, and Xian means to admire. So do not admire, basically.
Ooh.
Yeah, this might have come from a sort of poem written by Su Shi, or a poet from the Song Dynasty, a really famous poet. And this is from one of his poems about the Red Cliff. And the Red Cliff is like a very important battle of the three kingdoms in Chinese history, but we won't dig into that too much. Anyways, the poem basically talks about from this perspective that if everything changes and everything moves, like the moon, it will like wane and it will become full again, and the river, they constantly flow and rush, but no matter how they change, they are still there. So then standing on the perspective that if everything doesn't change, then everything will last for eternity. So there's really nothing to be jealous about, or there's nothing really to admire in other people.
Ooh.
So it's sort of just saying that if something isn't yours, you don't have to fight for it, or you don't have to be jealous of someone having it. You just have to be yourself, you know? And that really does connect with Wei Ying, or the baby, because it's like simple and pure. And it also connects with his own personality, because he himself was someone who sees like trouble and like sees someone in trouble, and he's just thinking, oh, I'm gonna help that person because they need help. And so he doesn't really have a complex mind where he's thinking, oh, that person's in trouble, but then if I help her, maybe I'll get into trouble with this person and like a bunch of stuff will follow. He doesn't think that. His mind is very simple. He's just like, they need my help, I'm gonna help them. So yeah, this is a really deep meaning right here.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that honestly, him having that attitude, you totally think like, oh, how nice and like altruistic of him, but it causes so much harm.
Yeah, that's the sad thing though. But then if he doesn't step in, you know, maybe he wouldn't meet Wangji, and then we wouldn't have the rest of the stuff.
No, totally. It's the thing that it makes him the hero, but people like Jiang Cheng, who maybe are a bit more political thinking, are seeing like that's actually gonna cause this, that's gonna cause this, but he's like, no dude, it's in my name, I don't think about that stuff.
Yeah, and so next we have Lan Zhan, or Lan Wangji. So Lan is a surname, but then if you use it in some other context, it can be the color blue.
Oh wow.
And Zhan, blue. I wonder where that came from.
They are the blue guys. When I explain the show to my friends, I'm like, it's like Game of Thrones, and there's like the sky guys, and they're like the blue and white guys.
And Zhan either means deep and profound, or it means crystal clear. Very similar to Jiang Cheng's name, which I talked about in Kictor's video. And if you want to see our explanation of Kictor's name, go check out her video. The link will be in the description down below. So this Lan Zhan, I actually ran it through this fortune telling thing again, and it actually was pretty accurate. So first is that it predicted a person with this name, they will encounter problems in the future.
Yeah, their problem is Wei Wuxian.
The problem, yeah. But then once you encounter these problems, you will feel very lonely.
Oh.
And yeah, you'll feel very lonely and very sort of secluded. But then eventually things will get better.
Oh my god.
And then
if that's not Wei Wuxian dying and coming back.
Yeah, he like searched for him for 13 years, and like definitely it was hinting at that.
Oh my gosh.
And then another thing it sort of warned about, it said to beware of fire or anything related to fire.
Ooh.
And from the show, we can see that, you know, the cloud recess or 云深不知处 was like burnt down. So that was definitely another thing. So this is actually pretty cool. Like this fortune telling thing, like foretold some stuff already.
That's super cool. Okay, now I've got a question. This might not connect, but
Yeah.
you know how you said that names can connect to like elements?
Yeah.
Does Wei Wuxian's name connect to fire?
It does not.
Oh, okay. How good would that have been if it was?
Well, I think if you think it in this way, Wei, his surname is the element wood, and wood sort of creates fire.
Oh.
So I guess that
We could
sort
warp
of
it into
connects
this.
with it. Yeah, we could definitely change some stuff in here.
And what did John mean again?
Zhan is either deep and profound, or it means crystal clear. Very similar to Jiang Cheng. Yeah.
And Ying in Wei Ying, what did that mean?
That means a baby.
Oh, okay. So, because that's what they call each other, right? They don't like.
Yeah,
Wei Wuxian
yeah.
calls him Lan Zhan. So he's calling him like, oh, my deep and profound one, and Lan Wangji is like a baby.
Actually, there's something going on between these two names because
Oh.
these two names are the one given to them from birth, and only the ones closest to them can use this name.
Oh.
Like your parents or your loved ones, and that's pretty much about the list that can use this name.
Gotcha. So it's very intimate.
Yeah, very, very intimate.
Damn. Oh my gosh. All these little things that just regular English speaking people wouldn't even pick up on. Because just that little thing of the intimacy of that is so gay. You know?
For Wangji, Wang means to forget. And then Ji, there kind of is like a hidden meaning behind it. At first, when I saw the name Wangji, Ji is like mechanic or like mechanical stuff. So then Wangji, I'm like forgetting about mechanics. Is this like person forgetful or something? But then as it turns out, it has like a much more deeper meaning to it. So Wangji, there is a poem, and in the poem it says 现有青山寺 白鹤忘机. So it means that I admire the views of sitting in like a green mountain and having white cranes accompanying me and forgetting about the plotting and scheming of the secular world. So Wangji here, it means to forget about the scheming and plotting of the secular world. And this really sort of ties back to Wei Wuxian, because his name was like, don't fight for it. Don't fight for anything that's not yours. So it really connects back to him.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah.
That's so interesting how all these names are very poetic and
They
come from
are.
poems. So like I wonder if like MXTX was like, yeah, for this book, everyone's getting a poem name.
Actually, that might be possible because a lot of characters from Mo Dao Zu Shi, their names actually came from poems. Yeah.
It's beautiful though, it's cool.
It is. It also has like this deep meaning to it apart from like the poetry side. Very philosophical sometimes. Mm-hmm. So for his title, which is Han Guangjun, I'm sure like some people call him Han Guangjun. Han Guang means to like hold back a light. And Han Guang also came from another poem.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, most of these are just poems.
I love it.
So
I love it.
I have to look at my notes. So it's called 寒光混世贵无名何用孤高比云月. So it really means to hiding your true abilities in the world. That is very precious. So what is the use of living high and secluded in the mountains, only comparing yourself to the clouds and the moons? So it sort of has like the meaning of like hidden talents, but not showing it all off. And that is really like what Lan Wangji is. You know, he's a person very calm, very serious on the outside. So you don't really know what his true potentials are until he like unleashes it, right?
Totally. That's pretty epic. I actually, man, Lan Wangji's name, it makes sense because he's supposed to be like so beautiful, like the epitome of like perfection. And his name is just like badass, like, oh, we're in the clouds and look at the landscape and there's cranes. And also like you're crouching tiger, hidden dragon inside of you. Like, that's so cool. And what was it? It was like, what's the point of comparing yourself to the cloud and the skies, or?
Yeah. What use is living high and secluded in the mountains only to compare yourself to clouds and the moon?
So what do you think that means?
It really means that, like, what my interpretation is, like, because the world is like, it can get very messy into like politics and stuff like that. So to me, like, to hold back your talents is to sort of stay out of this mess. It's sort of like being a lotus, because the lotus grows out from the mud and the dirt, but yet it's such like a pure flower. So really it's telling me to remain yourself, be your true self, and don't be tainted by things that happens around you.
That's what he was told to do, and then he got very tainted.
Yeah.
Very, very tainted. So within both of their names here, it's there's a lot going on here of like, you're gonna encounter something and it's gonna be really bad and you're gonna experience loss, Wei Wuxian dying. Oh, that's just so it's so interwoven into the story of like Lan Wangji. It's like, you're the best, you're up in like with the monks in the sky castle, everything's great. But then Wei Wuxian comes in here and he's the opposite of everything we believe in, but you get enamored by him and then he's gonna leave you and you're gonna experience the worst loss ever. But then in the end, it ends up being like the best. And then it kind of like Wei Wuxian's name's philosophy comes back of like what's the point? Like, you gotta help people.
Yeah.
Because then they go off together and fight ghosts.
The names here are just, I was speechless when I was just like researching and digging into these names. I spent like a couple nights just looking for like deciphering ancient texts and like ancient poetry. And I was like, whoa, I never expected this. Like, oh, it's so mind-blowing.
That's
like,
so cool. Oh. I really wonder when she's writing these stories if she's like got an idea for the character and then comes up with the name and then maybe like plots some more and then is like, oh, like I gotta come up with a name that would match this like arc, and like that's how she kind of, because everyone has like 6 names. Or if it's like right off the bat, it's like, nope, these are all the names that they're gonna have, and I'm gonna like arc around these names. So much thought, man.
Yeah.
I would pay $1 billion just to interview her.
If you're gonna interview her, please bring me along.
Yes, 1000%.
I'll be your translator.
Oh man, and the interview is her just being like, all of your interpretations are completely wrong. Don't talk to me.
All right, so next we have our beloved Shijie, or Wei Wuxian's sister, which is Jiang Yanli. So Yan means to hate and Li means to be apart. So hate, to be apart from, I don't know, someone or something. And Yanli together, actually in Buddhism, there is a term for it. It's called Samvega. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but it's basically the realization that life is just a dream. There's like, you've been living your life without a goal, very just like wandering. And then the realization that you sort of have to jump out of this like cycle of suffering to find enlightenment, or like to escape from this suffering. That's basically what her name means.
Oh my god.
And I guess she was trying to do that and like help Wei Wuxian and like Jiang Cheng to like, you know, they were always troubled by like the conflicts that were happening between sects and like other people. And then I guess that she was always there to support them and sort of like help them out from this mess.
Absolutely. Like her story is so tragic because she was so awesome. Like all the scenes between the two brothers and seeing how they would come together over her, like that was the one thing that would trump all of their competitions, is like they would both calm down and respect her and respect their time with her. And the sacrifices that she made in her own life and for their lives, like, oh my god. Because yeah, like
she's a great sister.
It kind of sucks, like as a woman in this like historical sense, it's like, oh yeah, you just gotta go get married off and it's a political move. So that kind of goes in with the whole Buddhist thing, right? Of like, oh, your life is just this.
Yeah.
And she broke the cycle. She did. In a messed up way.
Yeah, it was kind of sad too, because like all she did in her life was just to support her brothers. She like gave up everything really just for Wei Wuxian and Jiang Cheng. And she wasn't angry at all, or nor did she have like hate towards anyone. And she just like solved everything like through a peaceful and non-violent way. And I guess that really comes back to like her Buddhist name, you know, very peaceful.
Yeah, totally. Oh man, I love her. That's such a tragic, like, that's a tragic death. Like every time I see art with her, or like, oh, I just get a punch right in the gut. I loved her so much.
So next we have Lan Huan, or Lan Xichen, which is Lan Wangji's older brother. So Lan Huan is his name given from birth, and Huan means melted, as in like the ice melted into water. And then Huan, this word also might have originated from Taoism, and it came from the book Daodelajing, which was written by Lao Tzu, who is known to be the founder of Taoism. And so in his book, he wrote, 涣兮若冰之将士, which means Huan is the melting of ice into water, basically. And some people interpret it as like misunderstandings are like ice. Eventually, they will be flowing once again, and they will be like crystal clear. And that sort of ties in with the sort of the misunderstanding of like Jin Guangyao, where he thought he was like a good person, but then in the end, like who knew? He was like such a evil, scheming person.
Yeah, that's really cool. I actually like that. The misunderstandings. Can you say that part again about misunderstandings?
Misunderstanding is like ice. Eventually they will flow into water and become crystal clear.
Ah, and become crystal clear. Have you noticed that there has been a lot of crystal clear in all these names?
Yes, I have noticed. There's like 3.
That's very interesting. Yeah, Jiang Cheng, Lan Wangji, and now, oh my gosh. That is cool though. I think that's exactly right, like what you said with the whole, you know, oh, whoops, he was evil.
So on to his second name, which is Lan Xichen. Xi is the sunlight, and Chen is like a court minister. And usually these names, they have to be related together. And so if we tie it back to his name given from birth, which is Lan Huan, connecting it back to water, there's a saying called 诚心如水. The minister's heart should be as pure as water. And that's kind of what he is, you know? He's like a very upright person.
Now, do you think perhaps the little misunderstandings turning into clear as water thing and him having a clear heart? Because at first, when his brother, Lan Wangji, gets involved with Wei Wuxian, the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, or whatever, that could be seen as like very bad, like, Lan Zhan, stay away from him. But then over time, it melts and becomes clear as water, that actually he's a good guy, and it's not something that we should be worried about or like afraid it's gonna like scorn you.
That definitely could be an explanation, because I'm just looking from my point of view. And then there's definitely so many other interpretations of this. And yeah, I can definitely see that, where because
he ends up supporting their relationship
in
the end,
he does. Because there's also like the minister's heart is like pure as water. And ministers, they have to sort of see like the source of the problem, not just from like the surface. And so looking at Wei Wuxian, you know, he probably sees his like true intentions or his true feelings for Lan Wangji, instead of just seeing the surface where he's like the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation.
That's pretty awesome. And you know, I see Lan Xichen and Jiang Cheng paired together a lot, like as friends or lovers. And they seem completely opposite in this way, especially even just from their names. Like Lan Xichen has to have a clear minister's heart to see the truth, where I think Jiang Cheng sees a lot of things as like surface level. I'm judging you on your actions. And even just how it comes down to like Wei Wuxian and accepting Wei Wuxian, it's like Lan Xichen, he got it. He understood why Lan Wangji wanted to be with Wei Wuxian and was like, you know what, makes sense. Whereas Jiang Cheng was very jaded about it.
Probably something to do with like the way they were grown up as well. Because Jiang Cheng was sort of spoiled, while Lan Xichen was like grown up and taught to be very sophisticated. So definitely something to do with the way they grew up as well.
Ooh, good stuff.
Finally, on to our last person, which is the big schemer Jin Guangyao, or Meng Yao, as sometimes he was called. I chose to use Jin Guangyao instead because, after all, he is part of the Jin family. And so, something very interesting about this name. I ran it through the fortune telling, and whoa, it was so accurate. Like, I'm not even kidding, it was so accurate.
Oh!
The first thing it talked about was that the chances of success for you is suppressed. It's hard to succeed. Yeah, it already starts, you can already see Jin Guangyao in this. And then another thing, you will make enemies very easily among people. Another really big hint right there.
You know, if only these poor characters in their ancient times could like flip through the fortune book before they hang out with someone. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with this guy, he's super cool. It's like, wait, nope. This guy's evil.
Yeah, but usually this type of fortune telling, only those people with like a smart mind, or those who are sort of like, they know how to work this stuff, then they can like fortune tell it. But like normally when people flip through books, they're like, what does this mean? What is this?
So is it like Guo Shu from TGCF? How is he the one that says Hua Cheng is cursed and stuff?
It's usually the people who have like some background in cultivation, and then they can sort of like fortune tell for people, because fortune telling is a very, how should I say this? It's not a job suitable for everyone. You have to have like some,
Gotcha. So yeah, no one can just do it. Interesting. Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Actually, another thing that it fortune told about this name was that this person's personality, the external personality that they show, is very different from the one on the inside. And these two will contradict with each other.
Two-faced.
Yeah, exactly.
Bitch.
He's like this evil schemer on the inside, but then the outside he's like very peaceful. He's like,
Yeah, totally. Right from the core.
Yeah. And then here's one more thing that it was predicted about this name. And that was, this person is good at plotting and talking. And that's like where all his abilities lie. And it's through like talking and like plotting. This fortune telling is so accurate.
Yeah. Now, let's just say someone that does know Chinese. Are you getting this from like the traditional characters? Is that where like the meaning is?
No, not really. Because this fortune telling thing, I guess modern day, they connected both traditional and simplified to it. So this fortune telling thing is mainly about like the different words and like the different elements and how they paired together. So it's mostly based on that.
Cool.
Yep.
So if someone was crafting this name, like MXTX, they would have to be quite well versed in like how the elements and the pieces of devising a name like this would come to be, right?
Possibly, yes, if she did it intentionally. But if she didn't do it intentionally...
It has to be intentional. If all the other ones were like good luck and like made sense, and then this one is the like two-faced evil guy one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. But the cool thing about how it's the fortune side of it and not just like the definition side is that like you wouldn't be spoiled reading it.
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah, that is one thing about it, is that you definitely wouldn't know what this character would do and what would happen to them later on in the series. Yeah,
until the end. Until after you watch it.
Yeah.
And do the research.
Unless if you want to do the research before you watch it, then it's like spoiling everything.
Well, there we go. That's the thing, is that with any MXTX novel, don't research the names unless you want to be spoiled.
And so now we're gonna actually get into his name. So guang is light, and then yao means either precious or it's a type of jade. And so if you flip these two words around and it turns into Yao Guang instead of Guang Yao, it's actually the name of the seventh star of the Big Dipper. And like the star constellations, they have a lot of meanings in Taoism. And so the seventh star of the Big Dipper is also known as Po Jun Xing, or the star that destroys the army. And so it's also it can be compared to like the vanguard of the army, because the vanguard of the army, it's like main purpose is to like break through the defense and like destroy you at the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty badass. If he wasn't evil, that would be really cool.
And one thing about this star is that it will do everything to accomplish its goals, even if it hurts themselves and other people. And that just really ties in with Jin Guangyao.
Damn. Yeah, like the betrayal of everyone. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
oh my god.
exactly. For his title, which is Lian Fang Zun, Lian means to hold back, and Fang, it either means like a fragrance or it means something good, as in a good name or a good reputation. And so just looking that on a surface area is like just holding back your good name or like holding back something.
Damn. Oh my gosh. That is so cool. You know what? It would almost be interesting, you know, I would never want to do this, but if like MXTX new book comes out and you do Google all the names and you do run all the names through the fortune teller and you try to devise what the plot could be. Because like, again though, it's like hindsight is 2020. Like we're able to piece all these things together and like take the information that makes the most sense from the story. But that actually would be like a fun exercise. 'Cause, hey, have you read Scumvillain? Or seen it or anything?
I have watched the first season of it.
Okay, okay. Because that would be interesting. I haven't done anything Scumvillain. So like if we researched the names and then tried to predict what was going to happen just based off of the names.
I see you got another video idea right there.
There we go.
And actually, Lian Fang, these two words came from many poems actually, but they are mostly used as to describe like Lian Fang Yan, which means to hold back your expression. And so there is a poem here, and the line is 十分真久脸方言. So basically, the background of this poem is like this guy is like sitting at this restaurant or like an inn, and then the girl pours him a cup full of wine, but then the girl holds back her smile, so she's not smiling at all. And then she proceeds to sing this song, but then the song triggers the guy and he's like really sad and depressed about it. So then he's like, no, stop, I don't want to hear this song, can you change the song? And so it just really has like this sad background to this poem.
Yeah.
And I guess it also ties in with like Jin Guangyao's like background story, because you know he was born outside of like the main family, and so he was seen as like, you know, a bastard. So, and he was like really bullied before he actually became a part of the Jin family. So it's just really sad and depressing as well.
Yeah. Oh. Making me feel bad for him.
To be honest, I find him to be like one of the sad characters as well because of his like sad background. Because of his sad background, it like pushes him to do this type of stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
If it weren't for like the sad background and the bullying that he suffered, then he wouldn't have chosen, or he might not have chosen, to use like evil plotting and scheming. That's actually pretty much it for today's list. There are actually a lot of names in Mo Dao Zu Shi that has like a poetic background to it. Like I'm probably, because I grew up in Canada and not in China, so I don't have a strong like cultural background to like poems and stuff. But if you are a sort of like a cultured Chinese person, then you would probably recognize some names like almost immediately, like Jiang Fengmian, which is Jiang Cheng's father, and that was also from a poem as well.
Oh, wow.
So like there's so many poetic names out there.
Oh my gosh. You know what? What perhaps would be fun? If me and you did a live stream together.
Oh.
And we could talk about kind of these like lesser known characters and like do some research while we're live and interacting with the chat. Maybe that would be fun.
Yeah, maybe we can find a time to do that. That would be really fun.
That'd be awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me again. This is like so much fun to me. I love it. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming. So that is all for today's video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you like my channel. Also, be sure to check out Kictor's video down in the description below. I'll see you next time.